Hello guys, welcome to another video. Vampire and Slime Back in Time, Rimuru x Luminous, by M_Swedgy. Ch8, moments before Calamity, Luminous, after Rimuru gave me his gift, I wore them and started heading forward, and while walking, I stare at Rimuru, smile, definitely not blushing, then averting my sight back forward to where I'm walking, which I did more than one time. In one of these times, I glimpsed at my sleeves. I remember it being brown, so why is it black with bluish tint? It might have been Zhu because of how dark this cave is, but as I'm using only magic sense to see, that means I'm not imagining thing. Well, it doesn't matter. So I kept moving, ignoring that small oddity, and soon after, we stumbled over yet another intersection. We randomly chose the left one in. *tis. That's how they actually sound. From the ceiling of the passage, and between the stalactites, a pair of dark brown wings appear, sticking out from the sides of a giant bat. Is it the same one? No, it's probably a different one, but that doesn't matter. Rimuru was just about to jump from my arms, but I stopped him. Leave this one to me, Rimuru. I want to know how much I have grown. He just nodded. I honestly expected him to try to stop and say that it's too dangerous or something. I then put him on the ground and started moving forward. Just, don't get hurt and call me the moment, okay? I looked back at him and just smiled. I then averted my attention back to my target, which just started flying. Now it finally my chance to impress Rimuru. And also repaying him back for saving my life. I rushed towards the bat before he flies away, and to also avert my attention from my thoughts. I collected the water molecules in the air to create a ball of water. Usually, creating matter with only magic would be energy consuming, especially for weaker races like me. But due to the extremely high humidity level of this cave, I won't need to create any water from magic, but only condense the vapor in the air. Again, every magical rule in this fanfic is made by me. Jack shit is canon, but you can use these ideas if you want, smiley face. I then used water mastery to shot a water blade from the water I just condensed. It flew at an incredible speed and sliced right through its left wing. I used it at barely half power, and it's already this strong. As the bat was too far away, and it looked like it was going to attack, I jumped and collected a highly dense ball of water under each of my feet. The moment my toes touched the ground, I said it that way cause everything other than the toes aren't touching the ground. I bent my knees and prepared to jump, then. Really dude, why feet fingers? This man really forgot toes exist. I fixed them in this version. Boom. The sound of an explosion roared as the balls of water expanded under my feet, throwing me forward like an arrow. She doesn't know what a bullet is, so an arrow is next best thing. A laser could also work. I unsheathed my rapier and held it by both hands, then closed it to my chest and angled it to my left shoulder, so it was at defensive position. I slammed my left shoulder, which was protected by my sword, on the bat's chest. It was unable to resist the sudden force, making it smash into the wall, then falling to the ground on its back, all the while I'm still atop of its chest. Before it could recover and open its eyes, I smoothly cut off his head, but when my rapier went through its neck, the blood didn't splatter around, but moved in streams connected to my rapier, as if it's absorbing it. It's much sharper than I thought. I knew it would be strong and effective since Great Sage made it, but I didn't expect it to behead a C+ rank monster this easily. It might be even stronger than Waterblade. I couldn't find anything to support or dismiss in my 10 research whether a rare rank sword would have a difficulty cutting through a C+ rank monster. But even if a rare weapon shouldn't have difficulty, she should have because of her weak body. Other than being impressed at how effective the rapier is, I also felt that I got a little bit stronger. Vampires can grow stronger by drinking blood, but it's practically useless if it's the blood of a dead being. Let alone the fact that it's so inefficient that none would consider it to grow stronger. It's only useful for fledgling vampires, but then again, only if it's the blood of a living being. And how can this sword absorb blood and make me stronger? Blob blob blob, the sound of a certain adorable blob echoing through the tunnel. Degree. You killed it. I didn't expect you to do it so easily. And what do you think about the rapier? Is it to your liking? It's perfect. I didn't expect it to be this sharp. Should I tell him about the blood absorption part? Since he made it, I don't need to tell him about. Nor do I need to ask him why he didn't tell me, since it was a gift. I'm happy that you like it, and now I should absorb it to get any skill I could and also preserve it from rotting. His body expanded and covered the whole bat, only to start melting the entire thing inside him while he's shrinking. When he was done, I approached him and held him up on my arm before starting to walk forward once again. "So, what are the skills you got?" I said to him to get rid of the silence after an hour or so of walking. "I got ultrasonic waves, and the amount of magicules I got from it raised Great Sage's thought acceleration from 5x to 11x. So I'm on my way to getting back my power." So Great Sage got even faster and more efficient. How much is her original calculating power? Thought acceleration will be used as an indicator to Great Sage's calculating ability and Rimuru's general power. It was 1000x, wow. She's is already very strong despite her being 100 times weaker than she's supposed to be. I'm genuinely scared of her when she gets back to full power. Less than thanks for the compliment, Luminous-san. But don't compare what I can do now to when I was just a consciousless skill. Just by getting back to 1000 times, I would be much more capable than I ever was as Raphael, greater than. Rimuru. From now on, this is how talking will be. What about the absolute rule that no unique skill could ever reach, let alone beat, an ultimate skill? Less than master, do you really think that I'm just some ordinary unique skill? And even if not, do you actually believe that I would respect or care about such meager rules, greater than? Luminous. Rimuru, you are one lucky bastard for having such a skill, and remind me to never on her wrong side, and if I ever become, please restrain her. I whispered the second half to Rimuru, despite knowing the fact that Great Sage can hear everything that Rimuru hears. Less than don't worry, Luminous-san, I would never hurt you no matter what you do. Of course that's ignoring the case of Master asking me to do so, but we both know this would never happen. Less than so you shouldn't fear for yourself, but for the poor souls that would mess with you, or especially Master, of my simple warning to them greater than. She said all of that cheerfully with a cute, high-pitched voice, the one that you would find with little adorable girls. But it only made it scarier. And I thought I was scary, especially because I was given the title, Queen of Nightmares, but compared to her, I'm nothing more than child with a twig. Rimuru. Thank God she's on our side, as I couldn't agree to anything more. I furiously nodded my head. Luminous. Oh right, before Granbell and Yuki's attack, we were doing a cultural exchange. Could you tell me more about the culture of your world? More specifically, the food and the music of your country? I said, hoping to change the subject. Rimuru. Oh, if so then I will tell you about my favorite hobby. Anime. It's from where I got some of the music for the show. But it was just the base of them, the rest was composed by the Tempest musicians. And anime isn't just a type of music, it's more of its own culture, it's a type of animation. And so we kept talking for hours and I learned a lot. Though apparently it's not that much. I learned a lot about anime and manga, and the culture of the people who have taken them as a hobby, though I felt that he was leaving a lot out, especially with anime. PR. Degree. And I also learned a lot about TV, which is a square that creates many images that get replaced by another one at an incredibly high speed, so it looks as if the image is moving. And that each of those images are called a frame, and the speed at which they appear and get replaced by is frames per second, which determines how the smooth the video is. And that the sequence of frames is called a video, and more interestingly, those TVs can not only show videos, but also emit sounds. And it doesn't stop there. There are these things called phones, which are like a small TV one can use, but it can do much more than that, and there are also computers, both of them use apps, and other digital stuff to work and do many functions. The most insane thing about all of that is, his world doesn't have any form of magic. All of those wonders are made through pure technology, which in my opinion, make them even more magical, especially since this world, which have magic and beings smarter than humans, couldn't achieve 1/10 of what they did in twice the amount of time. Since the cardinal world is over 20,000 years old and human history is only 12,000 years old. By how much I want to have those things just by hearing some of their capabilities, I can easily guess that they will boom in sales, which according to Rimuru, is exactly what happened in his world. Heck, it doesn't need to be any of those advanced things, just the radio will be revolutionary. Add to that the many things we could do with it. The only problem is creating the damn things. But I think Rimuru got a good handle on things since he was going to create phone lines before. Now if I stay with him, I would be able to get a pretty big slice of that cake, let alone the other slice of that sea cake. Yeah, now just hope that that cake isn't a lie, laugh in sadism. PR. If you can't tell, I am a big shipper off Rimuru and Luminous, so I am enjoying this. On our way, we also met few more chambers, intersections, and giant bats. But the closest thing to a threat was an Armoraceus. But even it was easy to deal with, so we continued talking, even while fighting. But as we were talking, Rimuru suddenly asked me to stop. Luminous. Why did you suddenly ask me to stop, Rimuru? I sensed something strong. Luminous. But I don't sense anything, and even though your magic sense radius is bigger than mine, I don't think you would warn me about something that far away. Rimuru. It's quite close, in the chamber in front of us. And unlike the monsters we killed on our way here, this one is much stronger than us. It very stealthy as well, which is the reason why you couldn't sense. In fact, I wouldn't have sensed it if I didn't ably ultrasonic waves and vibration sense to magic sense. Luminous. So it's either a monster that survived by hiding away from stronger ones and ambushing weaker ones, or one so strong weaker ones won't notice it before they die. I don't know why, but... Rimuru. Yeah, I also feel that it's the later. Luminous. We won't be sure until we get closer to it and see it, and it's not as if we can go anywhere else. So, I continued walking once again, but this time trying to conceal my aura as much as possible. I could also feel Rimuru's aura disappearing, despite him being in my arms. We reached the end of the tunnel, and we saw a chamber with a unique look, even more so than the one with the hexagon pillar in its center. This one had 4 intersecting pillars. The first coming out of the ground at an angle from the left side of the chamber, reaching the middle of the ceiling. The second coming from high up the wall in front of us, and going straight forward to the other side of the room, going right through the first pillar. The third is stretches from the lower right wall to the upper left, but it's unnaturally smooth and unlike how any stone structure would naturally form. It's like this. But smoother, and reaches the top of the intersecting with the others. While the last is a straight angle from the corner between the wall we are looking from and the left wall, which reach the corner between the wall in front of us and the right wall. This one intersect with the other pillars as well. The upper side of all of them, as well as the ground, is covered with completely with flower-like white herbs. And the underside of the pillars is chalked with stalactites, except where the pillars intersect and where they are connected with walls. But more importantly than all of that is the black snake coiled under the first pillar. Rimuru. That's a tempest serpent, but it's somehow different. The tempest serpent woke up and looked at us. What is that? Was it awake the whole time? Did it sense us already? Since when? I felt my chest shrink as my lungs dried up in a moment, my legs, trembling and shivering, my foot bleed from how the speed of my legs. I tried to catch a breath, but I felt like swallowing sand. My arms, which were numb, were cold, too cold to sweat, and through them, I felt Rimuru melting past the open areas with them. My eyes became red and full of tears, falling down my chin. We lost just by feeling its killing intent. The snake moved to my left, and started heading our direction, so I only wished a better next life. Rimuru. Move. To the right. I heard a voice which was usually charming, filling me heart with light. But this time, it was desperate, but that lessened from how it affected me, but it increased its affect. In this situation, it felt like his voice came from heaven, piercing my soul, touching my soul, and gripping my mind, and giving it direction to what it should do. So, I jumped to my right, but as I just left the tunnel's mouth, the snake uncoiled itself and jumped towards me so fast that thunders cracked at its sides. A moment later, and it will be continued God knows when.